So the Chiefs could potentially have one key player return for this Sunday's game, but over the course of the next month or so could have another 2 legit weapons either back in action already or getting ready for the playoff run. So I've got to talk about that, Kelce's response to the loss against Buffalo, a couple minor roster moves, plus a look ahead to the Panthers game. But first, how about those? All right, first up, the Chiefs and Bills matchup last week had some massive viewing numbers. I mean, we already knew tens of millions would watch this game, but a new record was set. CBS reported the game had 31.2 million viewers, which is the best NFL regular season game TV rating for CBS since the undefeated Patriots took on the undefeated Colts in Week 9 of the 2007 season. That's a long time ago. In fact, 4 of the 5 highest viewed games this season have featured a game the Chiefs played in. The top is Chiefs-Bills, of course. We just talked about it. Then next on the list was the Week 1 opener against the Ravens, followed closely behind by the Week 2 game against the Bengals. The Chiefs have obviously grown in popularity for a few different reasons. They keep winning. They're in the midst of a dynasty. Kelce, T. Swift, Mahomes being the face of the league. And then millions and millions of these viewers are definitely hate watching, hoping, praying, fasting, etc. for a Chiefs loss. Well, they got their wish on Sunday as the Chiefs fell to 9-1 on the season. This is the team's first loss since Christmas last year. So yeah, it's a bit of a surreal feeling, not commonplace in this era of Chiefs kingdom, but losses happen, and it was against a great team in a hostile environment in Buffalo. I've already discussed a ton of takeaways from this game, but did you know that out of all 10 games played this season, the loss to Buffalo involved the Chiefs having the ball for the least amount of time they've had all year? They possessed the ball nearly 26 minutes, which is nearly the same amount of time they did Week 1 against the Ravens, but in 6 of those games, they had the ball for 32 minutes or longer. And that's why Travis Kelce said today on his podcast that the Bills played a great 4 quarters of football, but also did a great job converting key third downs and keeping Mahomes off the football field.
Yeah, they were converting third downs, something that I think we didn't do a great job of. Possessions, didn't have a lot of them. They were doing a good job of keeping our offense off the field, putting together drives. I mean, keep having Mahomes off the football field, man.
Kelce admitted he didn't play his best ball as he caught just 2 passes for 8 yards after catching 8 or more in his previous 4 of 5 games. Basically, Buffalo knows how to match up well against the Chiefs. They know they have to take Kelce out of the picture, and it worked in this game for sure. However, Travis is confident this current Chiefs team is still a great team that simply executed a few less plays than a great Buffalo Bills team did. The question now is, will the Chiefs be able to hold out and maintain the 1 seed in the coveted first-round bye? They are up a half game right now on the Bills because the Bills have a tiebreaker with their upcoming games, talking about the Chiefs being against the Panthers. More on that one here in a bit. Then the Raiders on Black Friday, followed by the Chargers, Browns, Texans, Steelers on Christmas, and finally the Broncos to conclude the regular season. Meanwhile, the Bills have a bye this week. Then they take on 3 straight NFC teams, followed by 3 straight division games. They have the 49ers, Rams, Lions. None of those are easy W's, followed by the Patriots, Jets. Patriots, on paper, they should win those games. Talking about the Bills pretty easily, but those are division games, and those can get pretty weird. Either way, it's going to be tough for both KC and Buffalo to win out, so we will see what happens here down the stretch. Enough of last week's game, though. Let's set our eyes ahead to this week's game against the Panthers, as well as one key player that could return this week, with 2 more very closely following. One, I'm very excited about as we haven't even seen him in a regular season game all year. Then I also need to talk about a couple minor roster moves the Chiefs made this week, all featuring wide receivers. But before I do, I need to tell you how you can enter for your chance to win either a full-size helmet signed by wide receiver Rashee Rice or a Super Bowl 58 mini helmet signed by Patrick Mahomes. This is all made possible thanks to the season-long partner of the channel, Chiefs VIDS. Chiefs VIDS is accessible through the official Chiefs app and features all kinds of signed Chiefs memorabilia from current or former players you can bid on. And right now, they've got a pair of tickets to a couple upcoming games, the Raiders game and the Texans game that you can bid on, a bunch of signed commemorative tickets from the infamous blocked field goal Broncos matchup, a dual signed Kelce and Mahomes game-used ball jerseys, helmets, cards, you name it, it's probably on there and gets updated all the time. So make sure to check back frequently, not only for items to bid on, but also for giveaways, because if you filter the offer type in the top right to giveaways, that's where you're going to want to go to enter for your chance to win that Super Bowl 58 mini helmet signed by Mahomes. When you enter, make sure to fill out your profile, including a shipping address and card info, because the winner will have to pay for shipping. Then, to enter for your chance to win the full-size helmet signed by Rashee Rice, addressed to the How About Those Chiefs community, pretty cool, all you got to do is join Chiefs Bids private Facebook group. The link is in the description, or scan the QR code here on the screen. Accept the group rules, and when approved, comment the word HBT Chiefs on the giveaway post pinned to the top of the page, right there in the featured section. I'll select the winner of the Rice helmet on Tuesday, November 26th. Then, the Mahomes mini helmet winner will be selected a few days later after the Raiders and Chiefs face off on Black Friday. All right, so yeah, the Panthers are not the best team in the league right now. We all know that. They're 3-7 on the season. They've traded off some players, but they did just rattle off 2 straight wins with Bryce Young at the helm and are also coming off their bye week. So the Chiefs, who just played a very hard-fought game on the road in Buffalo, have to travel once again, this time to North Carolina. Meanwhile, the Panthers are nice and rested coming off of their bye. In spite of that, the Chiefs are 10.5-point favorites still and should win this game. The Panthers will obviously aim to get a W over the back-to-back champs in this one, with Chuba Hubbard leading the charge in the run game. This man is averaging over 5 yards a carry on the season, and in the last 2 weeks alone, he has 3 touchdowns and over 200 yards on the ground. And with the status of another running back, Miles Sanders, unknown for this week as he deals with a foot/ankle injury sustained in the Panthers' Germany win, the Panthers' rookie second-round pick, running back Jonathan Brooks, is set to make his debut. Brooks was teammates with Xavier Worthy in college and was having a career year, his last, rushing for over 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns, along with 286 yards through the air, plus another touchdown. That is, until he tore his ACL near the end of the season, an unfortunate injury, but he is fully rehabbed and looks ready to go. The biggest thing to me about Brooks is that the Chiefs have 0 film on the guy. Hasn't played in a single NFL game, but again, they've been stellar against the run all season, so I'm not overly concerned at this point in time. Then, after trading away wide receiver Deontay Johnson to the Ravens, they got a few young guys leading the charge, 2 in particular in Xavier Legette and Jalen Coker, but should also have a veteran out there returning in wideout Adam Theilen. He missed most of the season with a hamstring injury, but was activated back to the roster last week. And while the Panthers are getting a couple players back from long-term injury stints, the Chiefs are as well, or at least that's the hope. Both running back Isaiah Pacheco and defensive lineman Charles Omenihu had their 21-day windows to return open up last week, and when asked if they could be brought back to the active roster and play against the Panthers, Andy Reid simply said, "We'll see on both of those too. We'll go through practice this week and see. It's a day-to-day type thing." Well, both Pacheco and Omenihu were limited participants in practice all last week, taking reps with the scout team, and Big Red felt the work was productive. And as you'll see here in a bit, the injury report, we're going to go over that, but it's going to be key to watch for both of these guys. Can they get some full work in, and will they be trending in an upwards direction to be able to play? If I had to choose, though, between who returns first, I would take Isaiah Pacheco at this point in time because, according to Ian Rappaport earlier this week, his understanding is that Pacheco is expected to be healthy enough to play on Sunday. The question is, will they opt to hold him out one more week as they get ready to go back-to-back against some AFC West opponents? The Raiders are struggling right now, but then the Chargers are on fire. Either way, Pacheco's return is near, and Andy Reid said having 2 great running backs in the mix, talking Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, is, quote, a good problem to have. Pacheco's worked his tail off, and if it was up to Pacheco, Andy said he would have played 3 weeks ago. The running back room is certainly an interesting one to keep eyes on. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, he keeps being a healthy scratch week after week after week. He's on the roster, but doesn't suit up. Then Carson Steele, he might be the odd man out once Pacheco returns, but again, we will have to wait and see because I don't think the third down back Samaje Perine is going anywhere. And then for Charles Omenihu, I'd really love him back out there to help with the pass rush, who got 0 sacks on Josh Allen, and a pass rush that is like bottom 5 in the league right now in sacks. And while he probably won't play this week, I'm very excited to have him out there, at least for that Chargers game, because the Chargers have a great O-line, and Justin Herbert is playing some really good ball right now, backed with J.K. Dobbins. Harbaugh's really turned that program around. 7-3 right now. That's a tough game, must win. Now, another player that could indeed be returning here soon is wide receiver Hollywood Brown, which would definitely be a welcomed addition. Andy shared today that he's making very good progress, and while he was non-committal on an exact timeline to return, I mean, he never gives a timeline to return for any player ever, Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest said he believes Hollywood's 21-day window to return could open up the week of the Chargers game at the earliest. That doesn't mean he's going to play that week or anything like that, and he believes a realistic return to be somewhere between week 16 and week 18. Hollywood himself took to X yesterday and tweeted out one single clock emoji, which I took to mean as it's only a matter of time. The good news here is, regardless of when exactly Hollywood is going to return, it could be week 16, 17, 18, all signs seem to be pointing to the team planning on having Hollywood Brown back and ready to go for the playoff run, which is definitely great news. More speed. You can kind of use the guy anywhere. Was having great rapport with Patrick Mahomes before the injury. And when you combine him with Xavier Worthy, a healthy Juju, DeAndre Hopkins, and Travis Kelce, I like that a lot. Speaking of wide receivers, the Chiefs recently signed former Patriots second-round pick and Tyquan Thornton to the practice squad earlier this week, and that adds yet another speedy guy. He runs a 4.2840, I believe, and he's also a bit of a lighter framed guy, so quick and speedy. He's 6'3", pretty tall, but only 180 pounds, and I don't know that we see all that much in-game action from Thornton this year, but with the majority of wideouts on a one-year deal, Hollywood, McColl, Juju, D-Hop, or on the last year of their deal, Justin Watson, maybe Thornton could be looked at as a potential future contributor. I mean, I'm not going to rule it out because only Rashee Rice, and he's going to start out suspended next year, and Xavier Worthy have long-term security with the team as they are on their rookie deals. And yeah, Sky Moore is also on his rookie deal. Year number 4 is next year. I don't really know if he's going to be around next season or not. Anyway, to make room for Thornton on the practice squad, Matt Derrick announced that the team opted to release wide receiver Cornell Powell. Honestly, this may not be the last we've seen from the Chiefs' 2021 fifth-round pick, but I guess time will surely tell there. And with Thornton added to the practice squad, that's 4 receivers on there right now when you add up Montrell Washington, Nico Remigio, and Justin Ross. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on these players that are soon to return, the minor moves the Chiefs made, and how you are feeling so far about this upcoming game against the Panthers. All right, from here, the injury report is out for both of these teams, Chiefs, Panthers. Wanted to take a look at that with you all because it is where we are going to track the progress specifically for Chiefs fans of Isaiah Pacheco and Charles Omenihu. It's worth noting they were limited today. In order for them to play against the Panthers, I think at some point this week, whether it's Thursday and Friday or just Friday, we need to see these limiteds move up to fully participating. So that'll be something to watch. A new addition to the injury report from this week compared to last. Chamari Connor with a thumb, but he was a full go. Brian Cook, rib, full go, so nothing concerning there. Kareem Hunt has kind of lived on the injury report, and he was a full participant, so not worried there. And then Juju Smith-Schuster, he spoke to the Chiefs media today, and he basically said, hey, my hamstring is good to go. I am 100%. He's on the injury report probably because he's still getting treatment on it, but he seems fine. He played last week, only 20 snaps or so, but he seems fine. Told the media today he's good to go. So I love to see that. Juju Smith-Schuster trending forward. Then obviously you're going to have the return eventually of Hollywood Brown. You got D-Hop further getting into the rotation, and this is something you love to see for the offense, especially once Isaiah Pacheco returns. As for the Panthers, I'm not going to go over every name right now because it's not going to matter until closer to Friday. Some of these could be a vet rest, like Jadeveon Clowney. I know there's injuries on here, but sometimes they're resting these vets. Miles Sanders, again, he might not be playing because of the injury he sustained in Germany. Jonathan Brooks, though, activated from IR, as I said earlier, and he was a full go today. Something to keep an eye on is J.C. Horn, one of their better defensive backs, one of their young guys. That was a potential player that teams wanted to maybe trade for before the deadline, and the Panthers said, no, sir, we're not doing that. He was limited with a calf injury today. So again, this is just something to keep tabs on as the week goes on, and we will definitely dive into it as the week progresses. But let me know your thoughts on players getting healthy for the Kansas City Chiefs and your current thoughts on how you think the game could shape up on Sunday. Do you think it'll be a blowout or a one-score game per usual? Let me know either way in the comments down below. And until next time, let's go. Let's freaking go. How about those?